Hey guys, Tony here. Back to do a recent Vinyl Editions video. Sunday night. Back to work tomorrow. I've been on vacation all week and went by too fast, let me tell you. As usual. Spent the first part of the week painting the baby's room. And that took up a lot of my time during the week. But past few days though, kind of spent chilling, hanging around the house with my daughter, doing a little bit of yard work, but it's been good. And just about, I think every night, just about, I was up till about 2 or 3 listening to records, and I tend to stay up late, even later when when I'm on vacation or don't have to work the following day. But anyway, been really digging the YouTube Facebook thing. I know I've said it before, other people have been talking about it. It's fantastic. If you're not part of it, man, I highly recommend joining it. And I'm looking at you, Fred. I know you're not on Facebook. You should join just for that. Really. I don't really go on much else Facebook now. Yes, it is another thing that sort of eats up your time, but it's really cool. So, yeah, so it's great talking to everybody, leaving comments, and it's been fun. So, anyway, what we're listening to, I hope it's not too loud. It's Forge Your Own Chains, heavy psychedelic ballads and dirges from 1968 to 1974. Fantastic compilation on Now and Again Records. Killer. So, alright, so I guess I'll just get down to showing you what I got here. Some cool stuff. I'll start with a few things I picked up that I actually already have, but they're really cool pressings, So, I'll start with this one. This was $3 or $4, and I couldn't leave it there. You don't see stereo pressings of this album very often. Free Will and Bob Dylan in stereo. Fortunately, it's not an original, but it is like a second or third pressing. But yeah, in stereo, it's just cool, So yeah, classic. An album I just, know really, really well. It's in really nice shape. Columbia. So yeah, I couldn't leave it there. Another one that I have multiple copies of, but this I could not leave there for $5. The Doors, first album. And what's cool about this one is that it is an original. First of all, it still has the Elektra inner sleeve and is an original pressing, the gold label. But the reason why I grabbed it though was that it is a mono copy. You can see that mono, which is so cool. Condition wise, there are a lot of little marks on it and things, but it really doesn't affect the play. There's a little bit of surface noise here and there, but it looks a lot worse than it is, one of those cases. And I took it home, cleaned it up, and plays just fine, really. And for $5, fuck, So really happy to get this. The mono mix of this is just killer. I remember as a kid, always walking around wearing my Walkman, and cheap headphones. One side would go out, the wire would come loose, and I'd only hear half of the music. Like you wouldn't hear Robbie Krieger's guitar or Ray Manzarek's keyboard, You'd hear like a phantom of the keyboard and it just sucked. So this shit should be heard in mono. This is really cool. Over here. And this one too, I already have the 180 gram reissue. But so I grabbed this. This was there for $3. I wasn't gonna leave this. Genesis, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, an original U.S. pressing on Atco in near mint shape. Has all the inner sleeves for $3. So I wasn't gonna leave that there, And this one did not have before, Joni Mitchell's Mingus for $4. So what's cool about this too is that first, Joni Mitchell. If you don't know Joni Mitchell or don't listen to her, she is just the bomb. She wrote this album, or was gonna do this album, with Charlie Mingus, and I think she actually wrote songs with him. But he passed away just before, and so she did the album on her own. Herbie Hancock plays on this, as well as Jaco Pastorius. This is really fucking good. Little bit of surface noise on this, so if I can find a better copy, I will. But yeah. Excuse me, one. Hopefully this isn't too loud, but I am turning this on. Sorry. All right. It's my AC. Hopefully it's not loud. All right. So for some newer releases, Oneohtrix Point Never, if I'm saying that right, Replica. Really, really cool album. Electronic, cool stuff. I guess the story is this artist, I forget his name now, based out of Brooklyn. He took like commercials, the sounds from commercials, and basically made this album from that. And it's really cool. I gotta listen to it more, just like everything else here. But really cool album. I'm glad I grabbed it. This album I can't remember if it came out this year or last year. Not 2012. Cloud Nothing's Attack on Memory. I think Mike Bostoni Reggie talked about this album. I think he says one of its favorites from this year. This is excellent. It's a lot better than I thought it would be. Sort of lo-fi, indie rock. Just really, really good. Do check it out. It's killer. And this one blew me away. Low. You guys know Low. I still have them in the shrink wrap to put the prices down on my spreadsheet, and I haven't done that yet. So, but yeah, their first album, I Could Live in Hope, sort of minimalist, kind of quiet. You guys know Low. But yeah, this is fantastic. So happy to get it. Gonna definitely check out more by them. This one I have not listened to yet. I believe it's a new reissue. It's definitely a new reissue, but I think they just reissued it again on Matador. Yo La Tengo, Electro Pura. I want to say it's like their $5th or $6th, something, $4th, $5th, something like that. But I haven't listened to it yet. Looking forward to it. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Yo La Tengo. So this was reissued, I think, a couple years ago. 180 gram pressing, like RTI pressing or something. But this isn't that. It's just a No Frills Matador reissue. So still looking forward to it. And this one, oof. A lot of people have been raving about this album, so I figured, what the hell, I'd check it out, something different. I'm always down for something different, you know? And man, this is very different for me, but I really like it. And I think part of it is because in general it's just different. And yeah, Death Grips, The Money Store. So Fred showed this. I know a bunch of other people showed it. People have been raving about it, and so I figured, man, what the hell, I'll grab it. And this is very angry, angry music, but it's interesting as hell. Sort of noisy, experimental rap, hip hop. But yeah, I liked it quite a bit. So not easy listening, not for me at least, not easy. I'm not gonna listen to this every day, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I grabbed it. Gotta listen to it some more. Cool stuff. Okay, some post-punk, really. A classic reissued copy of Echo and the Bunnymen, Ocean Rain. Classic album. Just figured I saw the reissue and just grabbed it. Classic album, one of their best, you know. Nocturnal Meat, Crystal Days, Silver, The Killing Moon, Ocean Rain. Cool ass album. Love this band. Just trying to move quick. This one too, killer, just beautiful. This Mortal Coil, their first album, It'll End in Tears, and on 4AD. Now, for those of you who don't know, This Mortal Coil isn't officially a band in the normal sense. What it is, was a constantly rotating cast of musicians, mostly on the 4AD label, and I don't know if there was one constant member or not, but anyway, this was fantastic. Howard Devoto is on one of the songs here from the Buzzcocks, and just so cool. So many people are on it, and yeah, on 4AD promo copy. So just for a few bucks, really happy to get it. And speaking of Howard Devoto, I picked up Magazine, The Correct Use of Soap. This is excellent. I mean, post-punk. Howard Devoto, of course, was in the Buzzcocks. He left, formed Magazine, put out a number of really good albums. This is the first one I own, and fantastic. Really just killer. UK pressing. I don't know if it was ever pressed in the US on Virgin, but yeah, killer. Album everybody's been talking about, and boy, this just blew me away. I'm a big fan of this band, but I had not heard this album, and this is just killer. Wire 154. Oh my God, this is fantastic. I have Pink Flag. I have Missing Chairs. I think this is my new favorite. This is just killer. I'm gonna have to download this for my iPod too because I'm in love. Really. If you don't know this album, I recommend it. Four Man with Beard's reissue, done really well, of course, but yeah, killer. This one I have not listened to yet, but some Psych here for you now. Been trying to up my Psych collection a little bit. I don't want to say I'm lacking in it, but could always use more. I mean, there's some essential Psych albums that I do not have. But Grace Slick, Great Society. This is the band she was in before the Airplane. So a lot of the songs that she later took to the Airplane are on here. But yeah, I haven't listened to it yet. Features original recordings of White Rabbit, Somebody to Love, Sally Go Around the Roses, Columbia Press. I think there's 2 volumes of this. This might be, I think, just the first volume. I'm not sure, but yeah, looking forward to this. This one, you know, I was a little bit disappointed in this. Not that it's bad, I just wasn't that into it. I gotta listen to it again, but still a decent album. Clear Light on Elektra, decent album, you know, Psych album from, I don't know, late 60s. Anyway, Clear Light features a number of people that went on to do different things. Dallas Taylor, the drummer, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, a few other people. But yeah, on Elektra, I guess these guys were, you know, set to be Elektra's darlings, and it just didn't work out, or I don't know. But Cliff DeYoung is in here. I think they were trying to make these guys out to be like the New Doors or something. Has the insert here along with the inner sleeve. It is an original press. I mean, tell me that doesn't like reek of Jim Morrison, you know? But anyway, not a bad album. I gotta listen to it more. Happy to have it. Like I seen it, like I said, seen on lists of like greatest psychedelic albums. Thought it was alright. This is a killer Psych album. The Electric Prunes, Underground, killer Psych Garage. I've actually seen the Electric Prunes live at a festival over the last few days. You know, I checked out some old concert tickets, and I looked up a festival I went to because there were just so many bands playing. And it turns out I'd seen Big Star, the band Big Star. It was in 2004. But yeah, Iggy and the Stooges, a lot of people. Bo Diddley, Nancy Sinatra. There were a lot of people at that show, but Electric Prunes, Underground, cool ass album. If you don't have this, I recommend it. It's not the Sundays, it's a Rhino reissue, Reprise Rhino reissue. Excellent. And another one I have not gotten around to listening to yet, but it was $4 in beautiful shape. Orpheus. Sort of, from what I hear, it's sort of like, I don't know if it's like a Baroque sort of Psych album, or sort of loungy sort of sounding, but I don't know, I didn't listen to it, so, but for $4, I've seen it go for more. It's in really nice shape, so. And this one was a really cool find. Sort of rounding up the Psych part of my video here. What do we have for time? Damn, already 15 minutes, almost. Killer. The West Coast Pop Art Experiment, Part 1. Original. For $10. I was like, for real, I'm grabbing this, you know? So good. I mean, it's weird, but it's excellent. I love it. Help Me, I'm a Rock. killer. But yeah, an original on reprise in really nice shape. The cover's got, you know, cover's got a little bit of wear, but it's nothing. For $10, just to show you real quick the label. You get a 3-tone reprise label, excellent. Could not leave this there for $10, so happy to get it. Here. This was a cool find as well. Steve Reich, live electric music, for $5. This features, you know, probably Steve Reich. Steve Reich was the avant-garde minimalist composer. Probably features his most famous or most notorious piece, and It's Gonna Rain, where he takes a recording of a preacher and sort of loops him saying it's gonna rain over and over and over, and sort of creates this like primitive, it sounds almost like primitive electronic music, you know. At the same time, I guess a flock of pigeons took off in that, you know, that second, and you can hear that in a way, and that adds to the sound, and it's really interesting. Now, when I got home with this, I paid $5. When I got home with it, I looked it up, and it turns out it's not the easiest record to find. I seen one copy of it on Discogs for $50, and it was in Russia. So I don't know, but I paid $5 for it. No, again, not everyday listening, but it's definitely an interesting piece to have in the collection. The second side is this violin piece, and that's interesting as well. But yeah, Steve Reich. Finally got this, man. This one, really happy to find actually. Camel, their first album, did not have it. In beautiful shape, UK pressing. I don't know if it's an original. It's on the MCA Fame label, in a big ass clip corner, but it's in mint shape for $8. First Camel record. Happy to finally get it. Pearls Before Swine. When I see Pearls Before Swine that I don't already have, I grab it. The Use of Ashes, excellent. I mean, Thomas Rapp, still grossly underrated. This is killer. Psych folk, you know, just killer. Love their. I have a few of their albums now, and this is excellent. So happy to get it. It's on the Reprise label. It is an original. I have other Pearls Before Swine on the ESP label. I guess they moved to Reprise. So very cool. Some Beefheart. Captain Beefheart, Shiny Beast, Bat Chain Puller. I believe this is on, what's the label? On Warner Brothers. So I believe this was supposed to come out on the Bizarre label, Zappa's label, and Zappa entered into a lawsuit with his then manager, so that kind of held up the recording of the album was supposed to be called Bat Chain Puller. So what Beefheart did was, I guess Zappa was sort of holding the tapes hostage. So Beefheart took the songs and some other songs and went to Warner Brothers and recorded this. And I gotta say, this is definitely a high point for Beefheart, Captain Beefheart, and the Magic Band. It's a new Magic Band reformed, so cool ass stuff. Excellent. Now for some Zappa. I'm in love with Zappa, I gotta say, and gosh, brilliant. I've been watching a lot of documentaries and things on YouTube about him, and listening to as much as I can by him. Amazing. It's such a shame that he's gone, just for music and politics in a way. The guy was just so outspoken and brilliant. This one is killer. Killer. Waka Juwaka. Fantastic. This is Zappa doing jazz, you know. If you like Hot Rats, this is like the companion piece to Hot Rats. See, it says Hot Rats. About Waka Juwaka. When I was trying to find Hot Rats, you know, before I bought it, I looked it up on eBay, and this came up a lot. So I kind of thought for a little bit that this was like a different pressing of Hot Rats, but it's basically a companion piece to Hot Rats. Fantastic, just fantastic jazz, you know, as only Zappa could do. This one, do a record change here. Maybe I'll throw this on. But it is an original. Paid $15 for it or so on the Bizarre label. Beautiful shape. And I'm gonna throw this on. Excuse me. Hope you don't mind. I'll try and be quick here. Let's see. Alright. Hope that air conditioner isn't too loud. Alright. So yeah, this is the shit right here. Alright. I'll try and be quick. What do we have for time? 20 minutes. One more Zappa. And for me, this was too loud. For me, this was the Zappa album to get. One of the hardest ones to find, I think. Sorry. One of the hardest ones to find, it seemed like, or people are just asking way too much money for it. But I tracked down a copy and didn't pay a lot for this at all. And it is an original, beautiful shape. The problem with this though is that every American pressing of this album sucks. Mix-wise, just how it was pressed, or how it was mixed, really just terrible. But unless you get the mono, I think the mono is far better. Frank Zappa's We're Only In It For The Money. I showed this in my 10s video. This is a 10, especially if you're into Zappa. Now this is Zappa's In The Mothers of Invention statement on 60s music, America, the whole hippie scene. And Zappa just basically calls up everybody out on this, saying how fake the whole hippie scene was. And you know, Zappa probably in line. And when you think about it, as much as we idealize the 60s and that whole movement, and while I'm sure it was a magical time for the people living it, there were probably a lot of fake fucks out there, weekend hippies and things like that. And yeah, but not only hippies, but you know, the parents of the time, the police, the government, he spares nobody on this. It's presented as one long piece of music and is brilliant. As it's like it's a parody. He's making fun of these psych bands. Like, he's making fun of Sgt. Pepper, but at the same time, it's a psych album because he's doing psych music as a parody. It's fucking brilliant, I gotta say. I'm in love with this album. This was supposed to be the cover. They wouldn't allow this to be the cover. Obviously, it's a parody of Sgt. Pepper. That was supposed to be the back, and the cover was supposed to be the inside, but yeah, the label wouldn't go for it. I guess Zappa actually asked Paul McCartney to call them, and Paul said, "Oh, you know, the managers have a problem with it." And Zappa's response was like, the artists are supposed to tell the managers what to do, you know, but they wouldn't go for it. So yeah, so happy to get this in beautiful shape, and yeah, it is an original on Bluebird label. Yeah, so happy to get this. Brilliant album. But yeah, he is ruthless on it. It's hilarious. Alright. Let's finish up last few. Picked these up the other day. Robert Wyatt, Old Rotten Hat. Wyatt's, I don't know, 5th or 6th album. Excellent. I really enjoyed this. The track listing is not in the back, but can't think of songs. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Old Rotten Hat. Anytime I see Robert Wyatt, I'm gonna grab it, you know? This one too, so happy to get. Hawkwind, a little bit of ring wear. As a few of these got ring wear, but the vinyl's beautiful. It is an original US on United Artists. Hall of the Mountain Grill. One of their best albums, just really. Look at that. Hawkwind. Love it, love it. I think Fred actually just showed this, and I came across this in Feeding Tube Records, which I'll talk about again in a minute. Ultra Zukai with Canaxis, if I'm saying that right. This is some crazy ass shit. It's really, really good, but it's definitely out there, of course. I mean, I believe, you know, Ultra Zukai doing his radio experiments. The story with this is this was done right around the time that Can first formed. But and it was released back then. I think that was the original cover. You can see that. But this is a Spoon, an official Spoon Records pressing, and in excellent shape. A little bit of sticker damage thing there, but hell, this is killer. So happy to get it. All right, so I went up to Northampton, Mass, and I met up with Mike, Bostonian Reggie, and we met up at Feeding Tube Records, sort of his local store, an amazing store. I've talked about it before. Byron Coley's store. It's really cool to go there and be able to bullshit music with the guy. He's really, really cool, you know. When I go there, I tend to spend too much, and it's cool, you know. He gives me a discount, gives Mike a discount. It's really cool. But anyway, yeah. So we went there. I bought a few of these things that I'm showing you, and then we went to go see Michael Chapman live. Excellent show. Played a short set, but I loved it. I love seeing him. Michael Chapman, of course, UK folk rock singer. His first album was Rainmaker, and second album was Fully Qualified Survivor, which I have. Light in the Attic reissued him. Sort of Roy Harper type, maybe like Roy Harper, cross with John Fahey, just killer acoustic player. Mick Ronson played on Fully Qualified Survivor. Excellent stuff. So he put out an album in 2004, I want to say. Mike showed this. I actually got to thank Mike for this and the next one for giving me the hookup. Plain Dealer. And it was never released on vinyl. And a record store up there basically issued limited 600 press of Plain Dealer. And this is fantastic. Michael Chapman. All hand done here, hand painted. And we got to meet Michael Chapman. He was just sort of hanging around there, sort of meandering. There weren't a lot of people there at all, so it makes me think that Michael Chapman is actually more obscure than kind of like I initially thought. But yeah, we got his autograph. This is hand pasted on there. So cool. You know, he's just, if you don't know those albums, if you don't know Michael Chapman, I highly recommend checking him out. This is excellent. Thank you, Mike. Really, very cool. And this one too, I'm so happy to get. A while ago, Mike contacted me and was like, "Do you have this album?" And I was like, "Oh no." He's like, "All right, you know." I was like, "Oh, that's so cool, you know," because I tried and look for this, and it's just hard to find any pressing of it. It's hard to find, and yeah, he came across 2 copies of this in a short amount of time, which I couldn't believe. Sort of the same thing happened to me with Dragon by Vangelis. You don't see that record too often. I came across 2, and I gave him 1, so he hooked me up with this, and I'm so thrilled. Come on, Space Shanty, so good. This is basically a Steve Hillage record, but it features Dave Stewart from Egg, National Health, on keyboards, and this is just. It's basically like kind of not heavy prog, but a prog album. Kind of, I don't want to say it's definitely Canterbury, but I think Dave Stewart's keyboard makes it more have that Canterbury sound. Other than that, it's Steve Hillage. He composed, it's like his earliest work, I believe. Some of his earliest work. But this is excellent. I'm so happy to get this. So thank you so much, Mike. Excellent stuff. This is a reissue on PVC, but fuck, I never see this, so I'm really happy to get it. Sounds awesome. Finally, last thing here. Really happy to get this one too. Derek was just talking about this, and one of his tents. And I'm in the store, and I probably flipped past it. Mike saw it, held it up. He's like, "Do you have this?" I was like, "No, but I do now." Killer. Bart Bears. Hopes and Fears. Reissue. This is so good. For those of you who like Henry Cow, I mean Fred Frith, Chris Cutler. This is the shit right here. This is phenomenal stuff. I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, you know Henry Cow, the avant-garde thing going on. The vocals sort of like makes me think of UK folk. I mean, there is that element, but it's phenomenal. I gotta listen to it more, but loved it. So very happy to get this. Art Bears. So those are my finds, guys. How long is this? God, half hour. Shit. Thanks for watching. Leave me comments. I gotta get to bed. Thank you.